So how you doing today, Robbie?
I'm very well, thank you, sir. How are you today?
I'm good. I've literally just been awake for 10 minutes, so I've just quickly done what I needed to do. So I'm ready for our chat.
Excellent. Very, very excited. We've been trying to arrange this for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, we've had a lot of problems, but mostly on my end, but still,
No, not at all. No, not at all. But we're here now. That's the main thing.
yeah. I would imagine you had a busy morning getting the shoes ready for school.
Yeah, well, do you know what? They're not at school today for some reason. I don't know why. Half term's finished, but they're still off for another day. So they're just around playing somewhere.
It's probably the training day or
I,
something like.
I think you're probably right. They could do a bit more training because my kids aren't doing great so far. Just joking.
So, the first time I really saw you was on the happy hour. So how did you get involved in working with the happy hour on a consistent basis?
So I first met Jack years ago. Long story. I'll give you as quick as I can. But essentially, I went to Sainsbury's once just before Christmas, and the queues were terrible. They were all down the aisle. They put the prices up. Everything about it was horrible. There's hardly anything on the shelves. It was dreadful. And I got a bit annoyed. And I thought there's got to be a better way to go shopping. So I decided not to go to a supermarket for 6 months. Don't worry, this story is coming back around to happy hour. Don't worry. So I didn't go to a supermarket for 6 months. And eventually, at the end of this, and it was quite annoying because when you're trying to go to if you need something like turmeric or something and you're trying to look around independent shops, it gets quite annoying when you know it's in the supermarket. But I eventually, after this, I just wrote a post on Facebook about it. And then after that, a friend who worked at the Huffington Post asked me to do a blog for them. So I wrote a blog for that, and then another one. And they invited me to come on this Chinese cooking show as a team of bloggers with some other girl, some brand thing. And through that, I was a team of bloggers, as a team of comedians, as a team of YouTubers, and Jack was one of the YouTubers, and that's how I met him. And then over the years, he just asked me to do various things, just in like sketches or stuff, whenever he did a sort of old man character. And then he'd so I'd do that, and then eventually just invite me on Happy Hour. He said, "Are you?" Eventually invited me back. People seem to like me on there, and now I've just kept turning up. Really, it's got too awkward to ask me to leave. So fine.
So obviously, as many people like you used to work for Soccer IM back when it was actually good. So, so I've always found Soccer IM to be a bit cringe. 'Cause as you can imagine, I'm probably a lot younger than you are.
Yeah, I think you possibly are. Yeah, I'm nearly 21 now, Anthony, and I'm 44. So yeah, I was
Yeah,
there 2000 to 2007. So I don't know what age you would have been then. But yeah, it was a fun time in my life. It was a really great job to have in my 20s. I wouldn't want to do it now because you're working quite long hours. You're working Friday nights, all day Saturday sort of thing. So I wouldn't see the kids as much as I'd like if I did. But it was a great job to have at the time.
because I, I because I'm only 25 now. So at the time, I would have been very very young.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
wouldn't.
you probably wouldn't have seen me. So how long ago did I leave? So 14 years ago.
Yeah,
So you'd have been what, 11, right?
yeah. I didn't start watching football properly till very late. For for your stereotypical normally your stereotypical lad starts watching football around 7, 8 years old. I didn't start watching till I was like 13, 14. So I was very late getting into football, so I didn't see you on there now.
What made you get into football when you eventually did?
To be honest, yeah, I didn't see the appeal of it at first. But then I can't remember what season it was. I think the Arsenal Newcastle for 4 games where Arsenal were winning 4-0 and then Newcastle pulled it back in the second half. So it was that game, I think.
That got you hooked.
Yeah. So I assume working for all the years on soccer, you must have a favourite team, or not really.
As in favourite.
Like, do you support a club?
Oh yeah, so a team. So yeah, I support Liverpool. Growing up in Kent in the 80s, because they were quite good. Not my friends did. But then I found out where Liverpool was and found out, God, that's inconvenient. That's not going to be easy for me to get there. But my family are all from. So yeah, I do support Liverpool at club level. But when I was a kid, I used to go to Sittingbourne a lot, my local non-league team. I used to go and watch them every week. And now I've got older, I think international football's the level for me, because I'm never going to go to a game every week. But my family are all from Scotland. I support Scotland. And so I tend to go to most, before COVID sort of times, most home qualifying games sort of thing for Scotland. So because I can do 2 or 3 games a year, that's easy. I can manage that.
Hopefully you'll be able to go back soon. Maybe not for this tournament, but definitely for the next tournament.
Yeah, it'll be good. I'd hope so. It's hard to work out what's going to happen, isn't it? Sort of thing. But you'd hope certainly by next summer, you'd hope it will be back to normal. Otherwise, it'd be quite depressing.
When it comes to like supporting teams, I don't really support teams like that, because I just think I personally think it's better to enjoy the game if you're neutral, because otherwise you're less stupid biases get in the way of a good footballing opinion.
Yeah, I've definitely got a bit less after all the European Super League stuff. It has taken a bit of my enthusiasm for club football out of it, and for Liverpool. I've been sort of thinking I've struggled to really get back into caring massively. So I think you've possibly got the right way forward. I'm sure the Euros will get me back into football a bit more, but I've struggled a bit since all the Super League stuff.
Like my family support Villa, but when it comes to my interest in Villa, I like them to do well, obviously, but I'm just not that sort of guy that'll go up to Villa and things like that, because I find that a bit cringe.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see. I've got less into it as I've got older, but I would get, when I was younger, I'd get quite annoyed by when Liverpool lost, but now I'm fine.
So obviously, as many people probably know, you have your own personal channel. So what would you say people are attracted to your channel in particular? Because I know for me, yeah, just because you do normal things.
Yeah, I think I grew up in a time without the internet. I first got the internet. I went on the internet when I went to university, and in my head, I think I thought the internet was a thing that was always there. You just got it at university. I didn't realize it was a relatively new thing. So I'd never had any of the sort of social media pressures that I think young people have now on Instagram to try and make your life look better than it is, or more exciting than it is, sort of thing. So I think I've consciously tried to make it realistic, because everyone's got to take the bins out unless you've got a butler to do it. Everyone's got to do their shopping or do whatever sort of thing. So I've just tried to be honest and, if anything, make my life less interesting than it is.
Yeah, to be honest, it gives motivation. It gives motivation for people like me, because obviously I'm very limited in what I can do, really. So it shows me that if you got enough personality, people are going to gravitate towards you.
That's a really kind thing to say. Thank you. Yeah, I hope so. And that's a surprising thing. I didn't expect this when I started, but I've had a lot of messages from people with various limitations of what they can do, or people with anxiety or things like that, who've said how much the videos help, which I wasn't really expecting going into it. It's the loveliest thing around it all. Yeah.
Because on my channel, apart from doing the podcast, I also like to give my opinion on random things. Obviously, nothing political or anything like that. But say, for example, I love my boxing and things like that. So I like to talk about things like that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, and it's, I think some people do try and chase things that they're not interested in. Whereas I've always thought if you make videos about stuff you're interested in, you're gonna be more into it in the long run. You're gonna want to carry on doing it and enjoy it more. Whereas I think if people try and chase where they think views are, they could end up in somewhere where you haven't got, where you're not really as passionate about the stuff. And I think it's harder to motivate yourself to make videos if you're not into it.
So I'm just curious, do you like boxing or is it not for you?
Do I like what? Sorry?
Boxing?
No, my brother's quite into it. I've never really got into it really. I'll occasionally watch a big fight when it's on, but also not on at the same time as it's not on at the right time for me. I'm going to bed about 9 o'clock. I'm get tired. If it was on at 9, I'd stay up. Like, 3 a.m, can't do it.
Like you probably would have enjoyed the days when it was on Channel 4 and things like that. Unfortunately nowadays the big fights are on pay-per-view all the time, and it can get a bit difficult sometimes. Unable to afford it all the time. So I wish they had it on regular TV, but I understand why they don't.
Yeah, I remember when I was a kid, they used to watch it on ITV or something, and I used to watch it then a lot more, like Chris Eubank, Nigel Benn, and all these sort of people. I watch it quite regularly. It was on at decent times and all this, but I understand why they don't. But it does feel a lot. It does feel very much a money making thing, a lot of it, and I struggle to get into it for that reason. Like, there's always these controversies and trying to arrange these fights and all this sort of stuff. I just struggle to get into it as a sport. Whereas I imagine for the actual athletes, I get that it is there, but there's so much nonsense around it. It puts me off a bit.
It's a very expensive sport to follow, even if you don't go to the fights first. And obviously, some fight can cost up to like 20 quid, and if people fight multiple times a year, it can get really expensive if you can't afford it, obviously.
Yeah, it's I've enjoyed, I don't watch this either, but I've enjoyed watching UFC a lot more than boxing because it feels a lot more, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It feels more like a sort of purer sport, if you will, and that there's not as much stuff going on around it. I might well be wrong.
It's because, a lot of times you've probably seen like the UFC, and in the UFC it's all under one umbrella. So it's a lot easier to get the big fights because you don't have to deal with every single promoter and the whole camp, if you know what I mean. Like, the fighters are signed to the actual UFC, and obviously the boxers are independent and the kids, if you know what I mean. So that's the reason why the UFC is a lot easier to get the big fights made.
I also feel in boxing that I don't really understand who's winning a lot of the time. Like the commentators, I'll be watching it and go, I have no idea really because I've never boxed and don't know much about the actual sport. I'll find quite often I'll think, oh, that's fairly even. They'll go, well, he's clearly won, and I go, oh, okay, fine.
To be honest with you, I really can't relate to what you mean because I watched boxing for so long that once you start watching it for a couple of shows, you start picking it up and you start understanding how they point. So do you like any other sport, just random sport, or not really? Or?
So I like to watch. I like I'm really into skiing, so I watch a lot of skiing, and I like going skiing as well. So I watch that when it's on during the winter. I watch a bit of tennis when Wimbledon's on, sort of thing, if I remember. I watch the big events of most sports. Like I might watch a little bit of the Ashes, or I might watch a little bit of the Six Nations or the Olympics and that. But I'm not watching anything other than football and skiing. Really, I don't watch anything with any regularity.
So basically, you're the definition of a casual then.
Yeah, I like to dabble. I like to dabble in a bit of everything, but I'm not going to commit. I'm not watching athletics on a rainy Tuesday night in Stoke.
I don't blame you. But going back to skiing, what made you when it what? By the way, I apologise if you answered the questions before. I'm just thinking of things that I've always wondered. So what made it? So do you know when you first started? What was your first skiing experience like? Your first ever one?
Skiing. I'm trying to think. I think I went skiing. I don't think anyone's ever asked me that before. I think I first did it on a dry ski slope in Gillingham in Kent, which is like, if you have ever seen one, it's got like little bristles on it. Like it's like a carpet that you go skiing on. And it's much harder than actual skiing. So if you learn to ski on a dry ski slope and then you go in snow, it's like, wow, that's much easier. So yeah, that would have been the first place I ever skied. And then I went on a school trip, maybe 2 school trips when I was a kid, skiing. But then I didn't do it again till I was 21. And then I went to Canada for a year. And while I was out there was a ski resort up there. I was living in Vancouver. There was a ski resort a couple of hours away in Whistler. And I thought, well, look, I'm never going to get another chance to work in a ski resort, probably. So I might as well go and try that, because it's very different to what I'm going to be doing in the UK. So I did it and got all right at it then, and just got really into it and enjoyed it. And then ever since then, when I've come back, I've gone most years. I've tried to get out there. Yeah.
On one of your walking episodes, I think it was with Bambina Becky, you said you wanted to raise your trip once COVID was over to go skiing with a load of people. Is that still the case? Or?
Yeah, definitely. I know Max Fosh skis, and I know he's good at it because he's posh, and they're all good at skiing. So they learn that before they walk, I think. So he'll be good. And people like I know Jack Mate and Stevie, who I do Happy Hour with, they have talked a lot, because I'm always talking about it. They've said they want to go, sort of thing, and Becky wants to go. So I think we could get a nice little gang of people together who might fancy it. So yeah, maybe if things are good, then maybe next year at some point I'll try and organise the YouTuber ski trip.
And if you do end up doing it, you could vlog it for your channel, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'd be good to get some stuff out there. I think it'd be quite fun and a funny video. So yeah, I will try and do it. I'll try and get onto there must be a holiday company who want some publicity, so they might give us a cheap holiday or something. We'll try that.
You know, I mean, do your children ski, or they're not into it, or are they too young to ski?
Yeah, I've got them into it. Yeah, so in January, I went away. January, not this year, the year before, I went away with Kitty and Otto, my 2 older. So at the time, Kitty was 8 years old and Otto was 5 years old. And so they skied. And it's, I mean, they're very much at the beginning stages of it, but they really enjoy it. And it's so lovely seeing them come up the mountain with you when you can actually do it together, because something I've enjoyed so much. And I think it's a family holiday that I can hopefully keep doing for quite a long time, because they'll hopefully keep it up. So I think so. Yeah, we're supposed to be going to Morzine in January in France. We were supposed to go this year, but we put it back a year because obviously of COVID. And then Arlo, my youngest, who's now 4, will be having his first trip on ski. So by then, everyone will be skiing a bit, hopefully, apart from my wife, who doesn't like it.
Have you ever tried snowboarding, or you just ski?
I've never tried that. I thought about doing it when I was in Canada, because when we were there, because I worked for the mountain, you got free ski lessons and snowboard lessons. So I always thought, oh, I'll give it a go and try it. But then when it was good weather, I always thought, I don't want to waste a good day by learning to snowboard. But when it was bad weather, I thought, well, I don't want to be learning to snowboard in bad weather. So I just never did it. And I don't think I ever will now, because I can't be bothered learning. I'm decent at skiing now. I can get around. I just don't think I can be bothered. But I just stick with what I know.
To be honest, it sounds like you're making you were making excuses not to do it by the sound of it.
Maybe you're psychologically analysing me. I don't know. I think, yeah, I think when I can get around skiing, it would be quite frustrating to go back to learning.
Because I do that all the time. I say to myself, I will do this, and then I say to myself, it's actually quite a nice day outside, and when it's a crap day, I say I can't. I say I got to do something else, and then I never end up doing it, because most of the time I don't want to do it in the first place, but obviously I make excuses not to do it.
I remember I always used to say, oh, if I had a few weeks off work, a couple of weeks of work, I'd do this around the house, or I'd get this sorted, or I'd fix this. And I remember as soon as COVID started, I remember thinking, I'm not going to do any of those things. That turns out was a lie. Like I thought, nope. I was just having to be completely honest. Nope, it's not been the lack of time. I just don't want to do them.
This is going to sound a bit weird, but why do you think we do that as humans? Do you think it's the way that we're programmed, or do you think there's a deeper reason behind it?
I don't know. I think it's stuff that you don't. If you can't be bothered with things, you just can't be bothered with things. I think there's a lot of things I know that I'd be happy if I did it, but whether I can be bothered to put the effort in to doing it. Like I've got a pile of clothes I need to put away, but I can't be bothered to do it. And I don't think the pleasure I'll get from having a tidy top of my cupboard will be worth it. Whereas I can be bothered to spend hours making a YouTube video. So I think it's just things that you're more interested in that you do, I guess.
But I imagine when you get to your stage in life, it becomes a lot difficult to say that, because obviously you have responsibility that you have to do.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's some things you have to, when you have to do things, you just do them, I guess. It's like, if I've got a deadline, I'll always do things. And I remember when I first had children, it didn't really sort of change that much, because you can still go places and do things and do it on. But then when Kitty, my oldest, my daughter, started school, that was like, wow, I can't do what I want anymore, because I have to take her to school or I'll get arrested or something, whatever happens. So suddenly you're at a point where you have to be in a certain place for most of the year. Whereas before, I could always, if I wanted to go to France for a few weeks or something, I never did these things, but I could have done it. Whereas it was quite weird being, oh God, now I literally have to take her to school every day. So you have to get up and do those things, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine when you get older, you start to enjoy the little mundane things, don't you? I would imagine. Obviously, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like being outside, but yesterday I didn't really go outside at all. But I know if I'd got out in the morning and I'd walked down to the shop or something, first thing I'd have been going, oh God, it's amazing to be out. It's nice to have fresh air or something like that. Or even if I've just gone and hung out in the garden for a bit, I would have enjoyed it. But I just couldn't be bothered. So I don't know. Yeah, I do appreciate a lot of the sort of more mundane things in life now. I mean, part of it I exaggerate for videos. Like I'm not really going bin day tomorrow, yay. But when I do take the bins out, I'd go, God, it's so nice and peaceful at 6 a.m, being outside and getting some fresh air. So I do enjoy these things, but I'm probably not as excited as I would suggest.
Yeah, I don't think anybody expects YouTubers to be that insane how they are on camera to how they are in real life. Because otherwise, it would be a pretty boring YouTube video. Even myself, I do try and be a bit more enthusiastic on camera. I just think in that short internet, because otherwise nobody would want to watch a YouTube video or any content when the person literally just mumbling the way through it.
Yeah, I think you have to up on camera. I think you have to up things by about 50%. I always think. So if I was talking to a friend, I might be saying something I'm going to go to the shops now and go and buy some bacon. Whereas if I was doing it in a video, I'd be much more, I'm going to go to the shops now and buy some bacon. And that sort of, it's just that a little bit more that makes it a normal level. Because if I did just go, I'm going to the shops now and buy some bacon, it would be a bit, you need a bit more energy, I think, than normal life.
So one of your biggest video series, if you want to call it that, is when you go for walks with people in the countryside. So what made you want to start doing that series? Cause honestly, I love that series today. Because it's just a nice relaxing series and you don't have to put too much attention into it. You can just have it on and relax.
Yeah, I like that. Well, one of the reasons was that I like, well, there was a lockdown and you were only allowed to meet people outside for a bit. You weren't allowed to go outside. So I thought, okay, I want to do videos with other people because I want to meet some people. So I'll do these. I'll do that outside. Also, I'm quite lazy. I can't be bothered to set up lights or do much with microphones and sound and all that. So if you're in the countryside, it's already, you've got the sun and you've got and there's no background noise that's messing up the audio. So it's a lot easier from technical things. And also I like the idea of a sort of quite peaceful chat where you can just get into unusual topics. I'm not writing interviews. So I did a walk with Spencer FC the other day and I didn't at any point ask him about Jeremy Lynch and the Wembley Cup because it's not what I'm interested in. I'm much more interested in knowing what his skincare regime is or something like that. So I think I like the sort of laid back, like you're almost sort of eavesdropping on some people going for a walk.
Yeah, obviously it's not the same what I do, but I always try and the abnormal. Do I mean abnormal? I always try and ask the question that not many people would ask. That's why I said. That's why I said to you about. Do you think well, hang on, sorry, I'm rambling again. So basically what I'm trying to say, do you know what I said to you about, do you think in our mind, we you know what, all I'm going to say, that's what I try and do a lot of the time in my interviews, so I can relate to that.
Yeah, well, it comes across. Yeah. I think it's a nice sort of relaxed style of chatting you've got, isn't it? Like no one's asked me when I first skied before. No one's asked me whether I like boxing sort of thing. I like the free form nature of just going into whatever conversation comes up.
You know when I'm speaking to normal people, this is how I speak. Like I ask a lot of weird questions. So yeah, I really relate to your series. My favorite one was with Saunders. I really like that one. So
yeah, why was that? What did you like about it? Because I really enjoyed that as well. Because I really like Saunders.
I just like the way you and Saunders spoke to each other. Not that there was a bad episode, but I just think you and Saunders' voices are really soothing.
Do you think I've got a career in ASMR, perhaps?
Everybody could have a career over time because at the end of the day, anybody can speak quietly like this right now. So who knows? Maybe you do, maybe you don't.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If the gardening and skiing videos go downhill, you might find me saying, "Hello, I'm at the shop," stuff like that.
I guarantee somebody will find that attractive.
Well, as long as someone does, that's the main thing. We'll give it a go.
So So at the every minute episode where you've been like, that really did not connect how I wanted it to, like, whether it was the location or whatever.
No, not really. I mean, all the people who I've gone for walks with have been lovely and we've had nice chats. Because I think I'm quite easy to chat to anyway.
Yeah.
The ones where I've done a few were in the cities and it gets slightly harder to do because there's more background noise. So you've got to you can't be as spontaneous as you might be. So like the one that I went with Spencer the other day that's not out yet, that was really easy because we were in a big country park. So you just sit down anywhere. There's loads of logs around to sit on. It was really easy to just wander and chat. Whereas ones I did Stevie White around Paddington Station, it's sort of central London, and we're walking by a canal, but there'll be roadworks or cars or some noise or something like that. So those ones are a bit harder. The ones where we're walking in a city.
And of course, the one that you did with Mark Colby, some Lanka. I know you're very PG YouTuber, so I'll keep it PG for you, Robbie.
I'm not really PG. I'm more you. Don't even need the parental guidance with me.
So basically, there was some twat that interrupted you.
So yeah, I can't remember what he said now. I think he didn't say anything rude. He was just saying, "What's your channel about?" or something like that. And then I said, I can't remember, like anything. And then he went just interviews and stuff. Like, yeah, I've literally say yes to anyone. Like if someone just, you can tell if people are sort of genuinely interested or if they just, I don't know. Like if someone genuinely seems interested, I will explain what it's about. But a lot of the time, I just go, just interviews, or if somebody just asks you what you're doing, I just go, I just think I can film my mate or something.
Why did you decide to keep that in the video? Did you think it was a good bit of the video, or did you...
Yeah, I think it's just interesting. It's just I try and leave bits in as much as possible with things like that. Like, because I think the less in those sort of videos, I like it to be as free flowing as possible. So I'll only really edit bits out if there's a real genuine need to. So I generally leave that in. I think it's just showing that people are chatting to you and all that sort of thing. I don't mind it.
Like I think getting somebody like Ethan playing on or somebody like that would be amazing. I think there's a certain style that people are really relaxed doing, and because you're a lot older than a lot of YouTubers, I think they're more comfortable to open up to you, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and I do find when you're out in the countryside, I do find that you quite often, if you are with someone for a couple of hours, you'll quite often get past the small talk, what you've been up to stuff quite early. And this is not necessarily on the videos, but in general, you can get into some more deep conversations because you're just spending a prolonged period of time with someone with no other real distractions and nothing else to really look at or do.
I find you anymore before you have another chat because sometimes it feels like it comes across like you only walk for like 5 minutes, and then you need a lot of people.
Yeah, there's a lot of walking past a camera, and I find when I do that, I feel like I can't remember if that's the way I normally walk or not. I get suddenly go like, do I move my arms this much normally? It's like acting walking. So I do. So there's quite a lot of bits that I'll do, but I'll try and do those early on so I don't forget. At the beginning, I'll go, right, let's just go past the camera here. Let's go past that way. And then I will have a couple of sit down chat bits in it. But then also there is quite a bit of walking. It depends who it's with. I mean, with Becky, we walk quite a long way. Cam Kirkham, we walk quite a long way. Mark Goldbridge, not that much because it was quite noisy in a lot of places. So we just sort of walk to quiet bits. We had limited time for that one. But some of them we've walked to pretty decent distances. Yeah, a few miles.
I mean, I couldn't do that walking the camera and then walking away from the camera and then coming back to the camera. it would just feel a bit all. It would just feel a bit awkward to me, if you know what I mean. But everybody's different, aren't they? So
Yeah, it involves me really going into the depths of my acting talent.
I, I wouldn't quit your day job.
You don't think I'm going to get the Oscars for best walk past a camera?
No, but but, but obviously, knew what I do. Yeah. I think it can be quite difficult sometimes to be relatable to people. Because obviously, how I speak, a lot of people are turned off by it because of my speech, because of my speech pattern. So do you get one not the same thing, but do you get a similar thing? Because you got age.
I don't know. I mean, I was surprised anyone cared at the beginning, because I didn't. I thought YouTube was for younger people than me. Essentially, I didn't really realize the breadth of content and people on there, and I think most people my age probably couldn't name 5 YouTubers. They'll probably know who KSI is. They'll probably know who Joe
Logan,
Sugg is or Zoella, but they probably won't know True Geordie. They probably won't know who Stephen Tries is. They're sort of really good people who they just aren't aware of because they're not on TV or something like that. So I think I was surprised people were that interested. But then when now I get YouTube, I don't think people are that turned off. I don't not something I think about a great deal, to be honest.
yeah, yeah, because it took me a while to realise that people are interested in what I got to say. That's why for a long time, yeah, I was very low in confidence on YouTube. So yeah,
What made you start doing YouTube?
to be honest, my first ever YouTube channel was me talking about wrestling. It's obviously not this channel, but during, going back to this channel, during during lockdown, I wanted to start speaking to people, so I just thought, why not why not start doing an interview series or like a chat or like a chat show, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely. And have you been enjoying it? Do you enjoy doing it?
I, I'm enjoying it a lot now because up until recently, I've been taking it like I've been taking it way too seriously.
Yeah, I think it can be hard to stay relaxed about it all sort of thing. I think some people do get too focused on numbers or things that's going on. I think if you're enjoying it and then it comes across in what you're doing, I think.
And, and then eventually, and then eventually, the numbers will come anyway. If you relate to people and they like your style, then eventually the numbers are going to come anyway. But it might take 5 years or it might take
Mm.
10 years, but
I think
eventually,
that's a good attitude because I think people do. When I started doing it, I remember thinking I'm going to try and make some element of money from this in 5 or 10 years. I didn't think it would take off as quickly as it did. I think I do get some people who message me saying, oh, I'm struggling to grow on YouTube. And I look at their channel and they've done like 3 videos over 6 months or something like that. Like, we just do it more, get better sort of thing. And I've had the advantage of having made videos for work for 20 years or something like that. So I know a lot of techniques and I've got some experience of creating content sort of thing. But I think having a long-term view of it is really important.
I, I, I know that I'm in a very unique position because I don't think there's many disabled YouTubers doing what I do because a lot of them just speak about their disability and that's fine. I got no problem with that. But a lot of them don't really show their they don't really show their personality. And as I've said before, I like speaking of, but I like speaking of boxing and MMA and wrestling and music and things like that.
That's. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, people are the sum of their whole, aren't they? I think people are interested in the whole person and what they're about and what you're interested in, sort of thing. So I think you're taking a good approach, and I think like these things make people unique. First of all, as I was saying, I was thinking, oh, YouTube's for younger people, and they go, okay, so actually my age is a different factor for you, and it's the same with your disability. It's just another element of things, I think, that makes you unique.
And once people started liking me for media, then I started doing the disabled theme video about my disability and my everyday life. Because a lot of people do find that interesting for whatever reason. I understand why they find it interesting, but because it's my everyday life, I do wonder sometimes, like why are people so interested?
Well, I think it comes back. I mean, it comes back to, I think, when I'm taking the bins out, sort of thing. That's everyday life as well, sort of thing. I think if you make effort and have a sort of personality into things, I think people are interested in people's lives or whatever. I mean, I think you've probably got more unique experiences than me putting the bins out. So yeah, I can definitely see why people will be interested in that.
And I always try and make it. I always try and make a joke out of it. I don't. Obviously, I don't look like disabled people, but I don't look this out of myself, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think if things are done with the right attitude, I think that's great, isn't it? I think it puts people at ease as well.
So, as you've said, you've done traditional mainstream. You've done traditional media. So, do you prefer YouTube or did you prefer the more traditional media?
There's different elements I like of both. I mean, there's something at Soccer M, there's a sort of rush of doing a live TV show there, which sounds a bit weird. There's like a sort of, when there's a countdown in your ear going on air, and you can't go, we're not ready, or we'll give you 5 minutes because it starts at that time, whatever. There's quite an adrenaline rush of counting down to the start of a show. So that I loved about that. But I like the freedom of YouTube and that. So both things had different. I've got different aspects that I enjoy, but I now at this stage of my life, yeah, I like the sort of freedom of being able to do sort of whatever you want on YouTube.
And a lot of people from the traditional media are coming onto YouTube. I mean, a friend of yours, Tubes from Soccer, he started his own channel, didn't he, basically doing golf and
Yeah.
chatting to people. So did we the question that encouraged him, or was he gonna do it anyway?
With Tubes, I think I'd been saying to him before, I think I even started my own channel, I've been saying you should do a YouTube channel. I think you should, and all this. And I think he'd been considering it. And then he's sort of gone down the golf route, which I'm not a big fan of golf sort of thing, but his interviews are really, I watch the interviews because they're lovely, long, relaxing chats, essentially. So I think there's, I think for him, it's something different that he can do from the same, because he's had the same job for over 20 years sort of thing at Sky. So I think something different for him that he can do sort of thing there. So I think it gives that like creative freedom and different outlook of stuff that you can do that's a bit of variety.
And on YouTube, you can go a bit more personality, if you know what I mean. Like if you want to drop the occasional swearing, you can do. And on traditional TV, you can't really do that unless it's working light shows, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. There's less restrictions on time. You can make a thing as long or as short as it needs to be. So there's very few shows where you could have a 40-minute long interview about nothing with someone. I mean, you get the occasional like Piers Morgan's Life Stories where it's a long thing about one person, but beyond that, but then that's specifically about their whole career. You never would get on normal TV the equivalent of my walks. You wouldn't get a 40-minute chat with someone. So you can decide how long you think a video is, irrespective of how long the time slot is.
And the one thing I like about YouTube, it's very based on the person. So if it doesn't work, then you can take the responsibility for it. If it does work, then you can obviously again take the responsibility for it. And then something like soccer, you might not have full creative control, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we were lucky at Sky in that we were sort of left to our own devices. No one really was telling us what to do, but still, I wasn't the producer, so it wasn't completely up to me. Like it was other people. It was Tim Lovejoy was the producer at the time, and there were other people more senior than me. So, yeah, we had a lot of control by TV standards, but I didn't necessarily have that control personally. Whereas if you've got a YouTube channel, then your name's on it, and you have full control within reason of what you put up.
Like I can't imagine you saying to someone, "Stop! We need to do that again." No good. Do that again.
Well, on the walk. Yeah. No, I'm not a demanding interviewer or producer.
Because otherwise, people would say to you, I ain't doing that. You can get a lot of spacely.
Yeah, but I mean, it depends in some ways what we're doing. Like for that, no. But if it's something that's more controlled, you have to get. I've got a lot of attention to detail and very high standards when I'm doing things. So there are things. If I'm doing links or something like that, or something that's scripted, then I will be doing quite a lot of takes of stuff. But yeah, the general things, no, free for all.
Of course, if you're making a film, for example, you need to get the right shot.
Yeah, and I don't often get in a position where some people will say, "Oh, that'll do," whereas I try to go, "No, we can do it better." Not that'll do something.
I think that would do. I think that would do in the most laziest thing you could say as a creator.
Yeah, I think you might. I mean, you've got to try and make sure everything that you're doing is as good as it can be, because at the end of the day, I think the only opinion that really matters on as far as quality is your own. I think once I put out a video, I don't really listen to the comments on it. In the terms of, I don't judge the quality of it by the comments, and that's good or bad, because you get contrasting opinions that aren't necessarily right, and just if you say one thing, like when I did that walk with Mark Goldbridge, and I think Mark's brilliant, and there are people going, Mark Goldbridge is the GOAT, as in the greatest, literally the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
and there are people going. There's one guy saying, I don't like this guy at all. Like, and it's like, well, they can't both be right. It's just it's opinions. It's not. It's the answer's probably somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I know exactly because I made a video on. I made a video on Times and Fury last night, and obviously it was a very, well, not obviously, but it was a very, some of the stuff I said in it was very controversial. So it's like, so yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Opinions are like arseholes, everybody got on.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
You know, I bet when you saw Blue Dave for the first time, I bet you're thinking, thank God I'm not the oldest person in the UK.
Yeah, we're like two sort of novelty old YouTubers sort of thing, because it's funny that because I'm not that not that old overall. Like I'm sort of in the middle of ages, sort of thing. But in YouTube, I'm ancient sort of thing. But it's like Jack's got me as his novelty old man, and True Geordie's got Dave as his novelty old man, and they like bring us together for some
And,
sort of old man party.
and I'm sort of like in the middle. Like they both know they both know I am. I wouldn't say I'm in either camp. I'm just doing my own thing.
You're neutral. You're like Switzerland.
Yeah. So my last couple of questions.
Mm-hmm.
So where would you like your channel to go to? Would you like it to where you could pay for your children's university or something like that?
They can fend for themselves. I'm not dealing with them. They can look after themselves. What attracts me to YouTube is the freedom of locations. If you can build it up or YouTube or whatever you do online to the point where it can pay your way or pay for your food or whatever else you need, then you can you don't have to be in one workplace. And that's what I love traveling. I love around. So I love the thought that if in a few years it was at the stage where I could live off it sort of thing, I could go, do you know what? The kids are off school for the summer. Let's go and live in Barcelona for 3 weeks or Prague for 3 weeks and just go somewhere different and not necessarily be tied to where an office or something like that. So that's what I'd love to get to with it, essentially. Apart from that, just enjoying it and experiencing. I've got to meet so many lovely people through doing this that I never would have met. Like I'd never have met Bambino Becky or Max Fosh in normal life, sort of thing. But they're great, really lovely, creative people. I'm really lucky to have been able to chat with.
Would you say you got your favorite artist? Are you the favorite YouTuber, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I'm like some obscure indie band that the other musicians like, but the wider public aren't that fussed about, sort of thing. Yeah, I do get a lot of lovely messages, and it's weird because when I went walking with Becky, I saw her on her Instagram.
Yeah.
She said, "I'm filming with my favorite YouTuber today." It's just fine, and I honestly, I'm not exaggerating.
You thought you were talking about somebody else?
Yeah, I'm not making that up or joking. Like, I genuinely was thinking, oh, I better try and get this. I'll try and be as quick as possible filming so she can get onto that. But it's only after a little bit I thought, wait, she means me, sort of thing. So yeah, it's really nice. And like when I went walking with Spence the other day, he said such lovely things about the channel as well. So it's really great having people who are at the top of their field and really, really talented, really good, saying nice things about you is surprising but lovely.
Because I do just say one day you would like to be able to do YouTube because all around the world, yeah. And for me, it's a similar sort of thing, yeah. Because unfortunately, yeah, a lot of people are going to be hesitant to do. A lot of people are going to be hesitant to give me opportunities, yeah. So when I first started making this channel, I thought if I could build my own thing, then I wouldn't need anybody else to give me opportunities. If you know what I mean.
And it gives you opportunities come from doing stuff like that. People will say to people, "Oh, you're so lucky," or that someone's so lucky you've got to do this sort of thing. But it's from doing things, and it's never necessarily what you think is going to happen. But if you like, if I hadn't stopped going to the supermarket, I wouldn't have met Jack, mate, and I wouldn't be on happy hour now, sort of thing. So it's so just doing consciously doing stuff and making an effort, and not just spending your day sat in front of the TV or doing whatever you do. I think the more people do, the more things happen in life and the more fun it is.
So basically, people need to be proactive.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you want to change things, you might be completely happy sat in front of the telly, in which case go for it, sort of thing. But if you're bored of anything in your life or you want anything to change, I think just go and do stuff. And it doesn't necessarily matter what the stuff is you're doing. Do something you enjoy, and you're going to meet people or do things or have opportunities come your way.
Yeah. So my penultimate question. You know when people think of Robbie Knox, what do you want them to think of?
When people think of me, I don't really mind. I just think what they want. I like to think that most people think I'm quite nice and quite a decent person. But it's opinions. It doesn't really matter to me overall. I mean, I wouldn't, if everyone in the world was going, this bloke's horrendous, I'd probably be like, this doesn't feel great. But overall, there'll be people who don't like me. I'm sure I've never met any, but I'm sure there are out there. But you never know why people don't like things. When people dislike videos I've done, like you don't know what the reason is. It could be that I look a bit like someone that their girlfriend ran off with or something. It could be just completely irrelevant to the context. You never know why people have opinions over you or what's going on in their life. So it doesn't particularly bother me, to be honest. Think what they like.
But Julie, when you die, Julie, when they put something on your gravestone, you want them to put something memorable about you. Like, so when you die, what would you like them to say at your funeral?
Again, I don't. I'll be dead. I don't really care. I don't believe in. I'm not religious. I don't believe in any sort of afterlife. They can say what they want. I genuinely don't think about it. And I'd like my kids to like me. I'd like my people who actually know me to think I'm a nice person overall. But by the time of the funeral, they can do what they want. They don't have to have a funeral if they don't want to. Just put me in a wheelie bin. Fine.
That's what I was basically talking about. The YouTube thing doesn't really matter at the end of the day. So that's what I was mainly talking about. Like the people that are closest to you.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I'd like people to think that I'd done my best and had the best intentions, whatever happens. I think, and I'd like my kids to like me. That's the main thing, I think.
So thank you for coming on, mate.
It's been an absolute joy, sir. Anytime if you ever want me back, I'm here. I'm raring, waiting to go.
Thank you for coming on, by the way. I really do appreciate it.
It's a pleasure, pal. Good luck with it all in the future.
I will, thank you. When it comes out, if you could promote it around, I would be really appreciative of that.
Of course I will, champ. Don't you worry about that.
So have you got any upcoming videos that people can go check out?
What have I got coming up? I've got more beer brewing things because I've been making beer recently. I've got a beer brewing video coming out this Wednesday. I don't know when this thing's going to go out, but on Wednesday. And I've got another one in a couple of weeks' time. And I've got various... There's videos. I'm not that good at planning or remembering when things are coming out. But yeah, there'll be videos.
Just to let you know, it'll probably be out in the next hour because I don't really like editing down too much.
In that case, Wednesday 5 p.m. there's a video about me brewing my first professional batch of beer with Doc's Beers in Grimsby.
To be honest, yeah, I don't really like alcoholic drinks. I just find them disgusting.
Oh, well, then it's probably not the drink for you, pal. We'll wait till we get another alcoholic one in the future.
I've always wondered what the appeal of alcohol is. Because to me, it tastes like sick.
Yep, I can see that. Some of them do. I don't know. I think it's an acquired taste. I don't think anyone first has alcohol and goes, God, that's amazing. It's definitely an acquired taste, but I think you're probably better off not acquiring the taste overall.
Because give me a Coke and I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, I like Diet Coke personally. If I'm full Coke, a bit too sugary, but yeah, Diet Coke all over that.
Yeah. So thank you for watching, ladies and gentlemen. If you're new to the channel, please give it a like, give it a share, and subscribe if you want to. So have a good day.
Thanks. Bye.